Good morning. Welcome to Chalice Unitarian Universalist Congregation. We are a community of diverse beliefs and experiences, nurturing the liberal religious spirit and united by our desire to grow in love and in service. Whoever you are, whomever you love, whatever your life's journey, you are welcome here. Whether you gather with us every Sunday, once or twice a year, or are here this morning for the very first time, we are glad you are here. I'm Maria Pia Duffy Foltz, the worship associate today. Our service is led by our minister, Reverend Sharon Wiley. Our worship musician this morning is Justin Gray, and our song leader is Lara Brown. Our tech team is Sarah Komnick, Dean Gadet, and David O'Gwyn. Welcome to our Sunday worship service. Welcome to those of you here in the chapel, and welcome to those of you live using Zoom. For those of us here in the chapel, you will notice that we have the windows open. This is to ensure good air circulation in the room. We will open a door if needed. There are also 4 air purifiers in the room. Please feel free to leave the chapel at any time if you are uncomfortable for any reason. You will be able to hear what is happening in the chapel while you are outside on the courtyard. You will need to re-enter the chapel, though, through the back door. For those of you using Zoom, please notice on your Zoom menu is the chat button. You are welcome to use the chat box during the service. Just please be sure that when you post that you've opened the little blue menu there to select everyone, so everyone can see what's being shared. I want to especially welcome those of you who are newcomers at Chalice this morning. Towards the end of the service, there will be a link in the online chat box for adding your name to our email list. In-person newcomers have already provided your email when you signed in. Our weekly email is the best way to get information about the many groups and activities we offer here at Chalice. Now, let's take a breath together.
A land acknowledgement is an honest and historically accurate way to recognize the traditional First Nations of a place. It commemorates Indigenous peoples' principal kinship to the land and the fact that they have not been and cannot be erased from their collective First Mother, the land. It is a starting place to change how the land is seen and talked about, according to Wanda Nannebush of the Anishinaabe Nation in Ontario. For non-Indigenous communities, a land acknowledgement is a powerful way of showing respect and honor for the Indigenous people of the land on which we work and live. It is a way of resisting the erasure of Indigenous histories and working towards honoring and inviting the truth. It is a stepping stone to honoring broken treaty relationships. It is an act of reconciliation. Land acknowledgements are not about placing blame, nor are they intended to restore white comfort. They are prayerful, they are personal, with carefully chosen and accurate language. In honoring Indigenous peoples, we strive to learn the pronunciation of their names. Land acknowledgements recognize how systemic and institutional systems of power have oppressed Indigenous people, and how that oppression has historically influenced the way non-Indigenous peoples perceive and interact with them, in the past as well as in the present. And so, I offer this land acknowledgement. I acknowledge that I live, work, and raise my family on stolen land, the ancestral homeland of the Piamkouicham and the Kumeyaay nations, a people who have been living, working, and raising families on this land of their ancestors for countless generations. people who have an enduring connection to this land that can never be erased, people for whom their deep relationship with this land of their ancestors is inseparable from who they are, people who consider this land and everything around them to be part of their enduring family.
Of our Unitarian Universalist faith. I'd like to invite Victoria Cagle to light our chalice this morning. We are all flames. When we gather hand in hand, our church, our community, our home, we inspire, we celebrate, we come together, sharing our light of hope for our shared future. The words of our call to worship this morning come from Reverend Jennifer Von Rue and Lynette Lowe. Welcome to this space, this sanctuary of peace, where we come to not only create our best selves, but to also do the work of creating a beloved community. We come together today as individuals, much like individual pieces of glass or pottery that are different shapes, sizes, and colors, all of which are broken, with imperfect, jagged edges, but always beautiful. While our pieces may not always fit neatly together, it is within this sanctuary, guided by our principles, that we gather together to create a beautiful mosaic. May the brokenness and beauty you find in one another create peace in this space and fill our hearts with love as we create worship together. Please rise in body or spirit and join in singing. Our Sunday worship is the shared spiritual practice of our community, and we tend to the congregation during this time by sharing and honoring our joys and sorrows. Here in the chapel, you are welcome to write your joy or sorrow onto a candle card, which will be collected from you. Online, please write your joy or sorrow, including your name, into the chat box. These joys and sorrows will be spoken out loud, and then we will remove this part of the service from the recording that goes onto our YouTube channel. So this sharing won't be publicly available online. So we have a few minutes of music so you can write down what you would like to share. If you would like to send Reverend Sharon a confidential note about your joy or sorrow, or to make a prayer request, please email her. Her email address will be on screen in a moment.
Our story is called The Circles All Around Us, written by Brad Montague, illustrations by Brad and Christy Montague. We begin by drawing a circle on the ground along each shoe. A safe little place for just one person. Nobody in this circle but you. You could keep that circle closed to everyone but yourself, but that would be like a library with just one book on the shelf. So let's draw a bigger circle for you and your family to share. Now you see what all can happen in a circle full of care. It becomes a happier circle as more loved ones come to stay. And wouldn't it be even better if all your friends could come and play? So you stretch and draw your circle even bigger than it's been, and let a few more people know they're welcome to come in. In the circles all around us, everywhere that we all go, there's a difference we can make and a love we can all show. Yet there are still so many outside the circle who are different in all they do. Though it feels slightly uncomfortable, we draw a bigger circle for them too. It doesn't mean the circle is easy. It can get harder the more we share. But wonderful things can happen when love is known and felt everywhere. As time passes, our eyes open. We see others we really care for. And that's when we ask ourselves, well, what's this circle really there for? So let us create bigger circles all around us for the rest of our days. Let our caring ripple out in a million little ways. In the circles all around us, everywhere that we all go, there's a difference we can make and a love we can all show. As our circles grow and we watch them wonder-eyed, remember the first circle started with just the love you hold inside.
At our congregational meeting today, Chalice members will vote to affirm our new congregational mission statement. So I thought we should reflect this morning on what it means to have a mission. The word mission is originally a religious word from Latin, meaning ascending abroad. Missionaries travel, yes? By the 1600s, the word meant an organized effort for the spread of religion or for enlightenment of a community. It still has that religious meaning, but also newer secular meanings. Spies are given missions, spacecraft fly missions, and corporations have mission statements. Starbucks' mission is to inspire and nurture the human spirit, one person, one cup, and one neighborhood at a time. Their mission statement doesn't have the word coffee in it at all. Their vision is to establish Starbucks as the premier purveyor of the finest coffee in the world, but their mission is about inspiring and nurturing the human spirit. Purpose or vision is why an organization or collective exists. Mission is what an organization aims to accomplish. So there might be dozens of different ways to achieve a mission, right? There are hundreds or even thousands of different ways to inspire and nurture the human spirit. We could adopt that as our mission statement. It would work for us. It's a lofty mission. Starbucks' purpose, to purvey fine coffee, is their particular way of achieving that lofty mission. So the word mission has a very mixed meaning these days, depending on the usage. Many of us have worked for companies that have mission statements, and we're comfortable using the word in that secular and corporate context. But the idea of religious mission and of missionary work feels very different. Some Christian missionaries in particular have understood their mission to be to convert followers of other faiths to Christianity, to proselytize. Historically, this kind of missionary work often occurred hand in hand with colonialism and its attendant violence and oppression. Nowadays, religious missionary work is commonly understood as service work, feeding the hungry, helping the poor. Christian churches often have what's called a mission board, what we would call the service committee, the group that oversees the congregation's work collecting canned goods for the food pantry, cooking a monthly meal at the homeless shelter, collecting clothing for donation, all the same kinds of things we do here at Chalice. We don't tend to use the word mission to mean service, we just use the word service. So what does it mean for Unitarian Universalist congregations to have a mission? For us, it's more like a mission statement in the corporation sense, especially since our theology for why the church exists is not centered around the idea that we should convert more and more people to Unitarian Universalism. We want people who are searching to find our congregation, yes, of course. And our own aversion to being proselytized to often keeps us from being as vocal and visible as we could and should be. It is a quirk of Unitarian Universalism that our congregations tend to form to serve people who already identify as Unitarian Universalists, rather than forming with an intention of converting local people to Unitarian Universalism. So at any rate, our UU congregations struggle sometimes in feeling clear about why we exist, beyond feeling clear that we want our congregations to exist. At Chalice, this struggle, this wondering has historically been expressed as wondering what makes us different from a social club. Historically, we ask that question a lot. And it's an important question, although I will say that in our third year of pandemic, being a social club doesn't sound too bad. Most of us feel very thankful to have a community of friendship, love, and support, so that's not nothing for sure. But of course, we are more than a social club. And our new mission statement speaks very clearly and powerfully to why Chalice is here. Here are the words. With love at the center, the mission of this church is to inspire individual and communal spiritual growth, connect through worship, music, learning, and caring ministries, act in the service of promoting UU principles in ourselves and the wider world. Put even more simply, as we have sometimes on our affirmation words, with love at the center, Chalice is here to inspire, connect, and act. Many of you have told me how much you like this new mission statement and appreciate the work that went into putting it together, and I agree with you. I think it's wonderful. With love at our center is an orientation that we can use to evaluate all that we do here. Love will be at the center of our congregational meeting today. Love is at the center of our commitment to making a monthly meal at Haven House. Love is at the center of our social justice work. Love is at the center of our congregational covenant that speaks to how we treat one another. We are here to inspire individual and communal spiritual growth. These words articulate something that I don't think we've said here at Chalice before in official documents. I might be wrong, some of you can tell me. But these words explicitly say that we aren't here to be complacent or to be patted on the back for all the things we already know. and all the ways we're already smart and thoughtful people. These words say that we're here for spiritual growth, for learning, for being challenged by new ideas. And we're here for spiritual growth, not just as individuals, isolated from one another. We're here for communal spiritual growth. We're here to be together as a community, to learn together, to be challenged together, and quite possibly to be challenged by each other. Our relationships with each other are what make this a community. Chalice isn't like the gym where you stop in to do what you want and then head back out into the world to finish up your errands. We're here to be in relationship with each other, to give and to receive. And it is through that giving and receiving that we grow as individuals and as a community. Next line, we are here to connect through worship, music, learning, and caring ministries. This part of our mission builds on the previous idea about being here to inspire spiritual growth. All of the things we do here are meant to help nurture connection between all of us. This is why we worship together, why there's a choir, why our committees and teams start their meetings with some personal sharing. Most of what we do here at Chalice, you could do somewhere else or in some other way. You can watch recordings of worship services from congregations all over the world. You can listen to beautiful music at concerts and online. You can take online classes and in-person classes on many different topics. Why you come here, why you are online this morning with this community, is because we are connected to one another through this community, this particular collection of people. So many people who have joined us online have a connection to Chalice through knowing people in the congregation, or from having been here in person before the pandemic, or even just living nearby. We thought that online worship would change everything, and it's changed a lot. But we've also learned that most people really do want to worship with a community that they're connected to. Relatives of congregants have worshiped online with them here in the congregation. People who live in different states but know someone who attends church here. And of course, those of us in person are here, not just because we want to do stuff, but because we want to connect with a community of people around shared values. So here we are. And finally, we are here to act in the service of promoting UU principles in ourselves and the wider world. We come together in community to take action, and not just action out there to make the world a better place, though that's important, but also action to promote UU principles in ourselves. There's that idea of spiritual growth again, right? We're here for transformation. Transformation of ourselves and the world we are living in. These are not small ideas. We heard in our story this morning about the blessings and challenges of being in community, drawing our circles of caring wider and wider to include more and more people. And at one point in the story, we're told, it doesn't mean the circle is easy. It can get harder the more we share. Boy, that's the truth. Also, at our congregational meeting this afternoon, we will vote on adopting the 8th principle. And I know we have differences of opinion in our community about this. And then I know that the fact that we have some differences of opinion has provoked some anxiety in folks, because it doesn't always feel good to be debating with each other. It doesn't mean that the circle is easy. It can get harder the more we share. I think it's wonderful that we are voting on something today that is important to us. important enough that we care about the outcome, and important enough that we do have differences of opinion. Whatever the outcome of the vote, it will be okay. Love is at our center. And actually, our voting on the eighth principle is living into this new mission. Whatever the outcome, our discussions and wrestling with it have inspired many of you to spiritual growth. And it has inspired communal spiritual growth as well. We are not the same community we were when we started this work a year ago. We have become connected in new ways, especially the past few weeks in our discussion forums. And now we are being called to take action, to vote, to see what our 100 or so members will decide to do. This is good and important work that we are doing. Those of you who are not members and won't be part of the voting this afternoon will want to know the outcome of the vote on the eighth principle. So please look for that information in the e-news this week. We'll be sure to put a note in there, and hopefully we'll remember to put it in the monthly newsletter too. May each of us here be blessed with the gifts of this community: love, inspiration, connection, and the call to take action. May each of us here be challenged and transformed by this community. May each of us here give and receive the offerings of friendship, care, and support. May it be so. You are invited to rise in body or spirit to join in singing.
The Sunday offering is an expression of the generosity that makes our congregational life possible. As Buddhist teacher Christina Feldman writes, generosity lies at the heart of spiritual practice. Extending generosity to ourselves and others gladdens our heart, is a direct way of healing division, and brings joy. Please text your donation to Chalice. If you haven't texted a donation before, know that once you text the amount, you'll get a reply with a link to follow to enter your credit card information. If you have already entered this information previously when you've donated, you won't need to enter it again. If your Sunday donation is meant to be part of your pledge payment, please be sure to indicate pledge after the dollar amount. The phone number for text donations will be on screen in a moment. Please give generously. Please join in dedicating our offering with words of affirmation. With love at the center, the mission of this congregation is to inspire, connect, and act.
Hello, you family. I'm going to sing a song with you called Shine on Me. It's an amazing spiritual that anybody can sing. And in these days when the things that we're dealing with, the feeling separate and all of that, and things seem so hard, this is one of those songs that you just throw your head back, put it in your medicine kit. All you have to do is ask. And here's how it goes. Shine on me, oh shine on me. Let the light from the lighthouse shine on me, oh shine on me, yes, shine on me. Let the light from the lighthouse shine on me. Lift me up, oh, lift me up. Let the light from the lighthouse lift me up, oh, lift me up, yes, lift me up. Let the light from the lighthouse lift me up, oh, hold me close, yes, hold me close. Let the light from the lighthouse hold me close, yes, hold me close, oh, hold me close. Let the light from the lighthouse, please, hold me close. Oh, shine on me, yes, shine on me. Let the light from the lighthouse shine on me, oh, shine on me, yes, shine on me. Let the light from the lighthouse shine on me. All you have to do is just ask. The light is always there.
Will you join me in the spirit of prayer? The words come from the Reverend Sidney Wilde. Spirit of life and love, your prophet Isaiah called us to worship you by freeing the oppressed, feeding the hungry, clothing the naked, and housing the homeless. Your follower, St. Francis, cried out, "Make me an instrument of thy peace." Jesus instructed us to love our neighbors and our enemies as ourselves. Remind us again, dear God, that ours are the hands that must do your work. We are the ones who must comfort the sick and lift up the poor. We are the ones who must challenge traditions to bring about justice. Strengthen our resolve, we pray, to live out our faith as doers of good works. Fill us with the Spirit, which will give us both courage and strength to move out into the world and there to make a difference. By our efforts, may your will be done. Amen. You're invited again to rise in body or spirit to sing together.
Before we close this service, I'd like to remind newcomers online to please use the link in the chat box to add your name to our email list. Our closing words come from Reverend Samuel A. Trumbore. Go forth in simplicity. Find and walk the path that leads to compassion and wisdom, that leads to happiness, peace, and ease. Welcome the stranger and open your heart to a world in need of healing. Be courageous before the forces of hate. Hold and embody a vision of the common good that serves the needs of all people. Love and blessings to each of you. Blessed be. You are invited to close our time together by singing the well. After our closing hymn, please return to your seats for an announcement.
Justice. it's renewed from within. Look for the dream in each other's eyes, the spark where a new world begins. Yes, we drink from